Within the 500 names in the S&P 500 index, Apple produced more net income in 2020 than the bottom 300 companies combined. Most companies have a profit of 2 to 5% of their sales, but Apple has a profit of 25%. In the last few years, they have found a way to make even more money. They have increased the prices of iPhones and started new services that make a lot of money. If you have an iPhone, you probably use Safari and Siri to search for things on the internet. And they probably take you to Google most of the time. This might seem normal because Google is the most popular search engine. But what if Apple had always taken you to Bing instead? That would have felt weird, but it could have happened. Apple didn't pick Google just because it was the best choice or to annoy Microsoft. They picked Google because Google paid them a lot of money. At first, it was not that much. In 2014, it was about $1 billion. But since then, this amount has grown a lot. It has not doubled or tripled or even gone up by 5 times, it has gone up by 20 times to $20 billion. And the best part is that this is almost pure profit for Apple. To compare, the number of iPhone users has only gone up by about 3 times in the same time. So, Google is paying more than 6 times more for each user. This is not only a crazy amount to pay for being the default search engine, but it is also a huge part of Apple's total profit. The $20 billion that Google pays them is 20% of Apple's entire profit. This means that Apple could stop making money from everything else they do and just live off the money from Google. They would still be worth $600 billion, which is more than most other companies in the world. And this big payment is just one part of Apple's plan to make more money. Apple's plan to make more money is not only based on getting paid by Google, but also by creating its own search engine. Apple has been developing its own search engine for a while, and it has already started to show some signs of it. Like showing its own search results on the Spotlight feature of iOS and macOS, which allows users to search for anything on their devices or on the web. Apple has also been crawling the web with its own bots, which are programs that collect information from websites. Apple has also hired some experts in search engine technology, such as John Giannandrea, who used to be the head of Google's Search and Artificial Intelligence division. Why is Apple doing this? There are several possible reasons. One is that Apple wants to have more control over its own ecosystem and provide a better user experience. Apple is known for its focus on privacy and security, and it might want to offer a search engine that respects these values more than Google does. Apple might also want to compete with Google and take some of its market share and revenue. Google makes most of its money from advertising, and Apple might want to get a piece of that pie. Apple already has a large and loyal user base, and it might be able to convince them to use its own search engine instead of Google's. However, creating a search engine is not easy, and Apple faces many challenges. One is that Google has a huge advantage in terms of data and experience. Google has been collecting and analyzing data from billions of users and websites for more than 2 decades, and it has developed sophisticated algorithms and technologies to provide the best search results. Google also has a strong brand and reputation, and many users trust and prefer Google over other search engines. Apple might also have to comply with different laws and regulations in different countries, which might limit its ability to operate its search engine globally. Therefore, Apple's plan to make more money from search is not without risk. Apple makes most of its money from selling iPhones. In the first 3 months of this year, they made $94.8 billion, but more than half of that was from iPhones. The rest of their money also depends on iPhones. People buy Apple Watch and MacBook because they work well with iPhone. So, even though Apple is a very big company, they still rely a lot on one product, the iPhone. If the iPhone sales go down, they might be in trouble. Although Apple has other products and services, none of them are as profitable as the iPhone. The phone market is very competitive and changes a lot, with many companies offering similar or better phones at lower prices. Apple faces strong competition, especially in places like China and India, where the iPhone is not very affordable. Another big problem is that Apple needs to always introduce new features, designs, and technologies to keep the iPhone relevant and attractive, but this may become harder and more expensive as the phone industry gets older and reaches a point where there are no more surprises. Apple may also have trouble creating something new after the iPhone, as it did with the iPod and the iPad in the past. These are some of the reasons why Apple's dependence on the iPhone could be a big problem. Apple has struggled to persuade people to buy new iPhones, but they have been very successful in keeping iPhone users loyal and attracting Android users to their side. Therefore, Apple's main goal has been to make money from existing iPhone users rather than selling more iPhones. So what they did was launching products that are related to smartphones. Many of these products faced a lot of criticism at first, especially the AirPods. 6 years ago, it seemed ridiculous to pay $150 for a pair of wireless headphones. But now, that's the standard. Apple also experimented with pricing. They always tried to push the limits of how much people were willing to pay for iPhone. Apple's pricing strategy has also been very effective in maximizing its profits and maintaining its premium brand image. Apple has always charged a higher price than its competitors for its products, reflecting its superior quality, design, and innovation. Apple has also used price skimming, which means setting a high initial price for a new product and then gradually lowering it over time. This allows Apple to capture the most value from the early adopters who are willing to pay a premium, and then attract more price-sensitive customers later on. For example, when the iPhone X was launched in 2017, it had a starting price of $999, which was the highest ever for an iPhone. By 2019, the price had dropped to $699, making it more affordable for a wider audience. Apple's pricing strategy also involves offering different versions of the same product with different features and prices, creating a sense of differentiation and choice for the customers. In 2020, Apple released 4 models of the iPhone 12, ranging from the iPhone 12 mini, $699, to the iPhone 12 Pro Max, $1,099, with different screen sizes, cameras, and storage capacities. This allows Apple to cater to different segments of the market and capture more value from the customers who are willing to pay more for better features. Apple has been very successful in generating revenue from its existing iPhone users and attracting new customers from other platforms. Apple has done this by launching products and services that are related to the iPhone and enhance its functionality and user experience. Apple has also used a smart pricing strategy that reflects its brand value, captures the most value from the customers, and offers different options for different preferences. Apple is a great example of a company that has mastered the art of creating and capturing value in the market.